got the big fish talk. So as y'all can see, walking by the water. This is between the sun and the water. This is home. So I've actually, on the way to the beach, had an Uber driver that was talking about, how we as a people, it's not that we don't, it's not that we dislike each other. It's more so about the influences from the powers that be that control our minds in a lot of ways. If we don't actively push back, it's them understanding that there needs to be a competition. There needs to be people competing against each other, because when people are competing against each other, then they can tap more into your emotions, or not even competing against each other, people disliking each other. So when you dislike somebody, think about how much more you are more likely to focus on emotions and be guided by your emotions rather than what makes sense, what's logical at the time. Now, when you're not angry at somebody and you don't dislike somebody, it allows you to be a whole lot more balanced when judging a situation involving that person, that particular group. So it's almost like, and it happens not just again from ethnicity to ethnicity, but within ethnicities. I always look at our culture as a black person, African, American, indigenous, whatever you want to call it. And you look at, like the gang culture. And that's something that wasn't necessarily introduced, by us, or that's just something that's, I don't know, that's natural. That's just tribal in a lot of ways. But obviously, it's turned into what it's turned into now. But my point, bringing it up, is more so to focus on the fact that you can have people that are the exact same, and 99% of them, they're relatable. They come from a similar background, have a similar story, like the same food, same drinks, have the same culture, listen to the same music, all these different things. People are very similar and just don't like each other. Just don't like each other. And that always, reminds me of conversations that, I've had with one of my mentors, where he always said that if people just sat down and had lunch with each other, then we'd realize more and more just how much we are alike. We can relate to people, and it's the powers that be that want to keep us from sitting down and having those lunches, because the more we just avoid each other and never gain that understanding, then we're always going to just fear the unknown. And when you have negative influences that capitalize and benefit off of us disliking each other, then that fear of the unknown turns into a hatred of the unknown. So we have to actively, like I said, like when I said it, that the powers that be control how we think, control how we move, control how we dress. If we don't actively fight against that, then that's exactly what it's going to be. Them controlling how we think and how we move around in life. So I don't know if, I guess the only answer, well, I don't know. This is more just like one of those thought-provoking conversations as I'm lost trying to get back to wherever I came from. But it's more so us just interacting, I think, with each other more, and interacting in certain ways. Us not being intimidated to reach out to a certain group for help, or us not being intimidated to reach out to certain individuals, a certain group to help. And like I said, it's funny how it always goes back to like culture, and sometimes you could be blindly prideful in your culture to the point where you're not able to embrace and understand others And I say that, I shouldn't have said you, I meant we. And it's just something that we need to work on. It's something that we need to actively, be conscious about, because at the end of the day, we're only hurting ourselves. Like, we would benefit tremendously more, whether it's just within a certain group or just overall throughout the entire community. We benefit tremendously more in a lot of ways without hating each other. And don't get me wrong, I'm all about the competition. I'm all about being a competitor. As I turn around, because I was walking that whole time the wrong way. I'm all about healthy competition. But when you go into it with bad intentions, based on bad people who benefit from us, like I said, not liking each other, and just blindly having pride in their group to the point where it turns negative. Like, too much of anything, right? Negative. It's not good. So I don't know. Sometimes like I said, I don't know where this is going. These are the conversations that I have with myself. So I'm having them, in front of y'all, but I'm having this more with myself, where it's like, what's the answer? For me, it's always been exposing myself to different groups, different types of people. And when I do that, I'm able to get different perspectives. And I'm able to kind of, and it's like, you have to do it with people that you're comfortable with. Because if you don't do it with people that you're comfortable with, then you'll never be open enough, whatever word you want to use, vulnerable enough, but open enough to really listen, to understand what they're saying, rather than listening to respond and listening with the while you're already thinking that they have intentions that are ill. You know what I mean? So I didn't want to keep y'all on too long, but those are the thoughts. Like, what's the answer to all of this? What's the answer to people? And let's start within the group first. I'll be the first to say, like, as a black person, let's start within our group first, and change our culture. But you never want to shut off opportunities to get close with people outside of our group. I'm not the type that's gonna sit here and just say everything, all those, like I said, extremists. No, black this. You ain't gotta move like that, because to be totally honest, well, I'm not even gonna get into that. That's a whole nother conversation when it comes to, and I don't want to use my anecdotal experience to talk about certain issues, but I wanted to just kind of keep it big picture. But, good people are good people. I guess that's what I'm trying to say. So if there's a good person that's not black, then I don't care. Like, good people are good people. And that's what I want to align myself with. And, of course, like, I have pride in my family. I have pride in my people. But, that pride is never going to be blind pride. And never get to a negative, to where it's no longer serving me in a positive way. So, but like I said, let's definitely start with a focus in our community, because shit, we need it. It's bad. But yeah, so let's all think about it, where we can get to, acknowledging where we are, and go from there. Ooh, I'll see y'all.